The Starship from SpaceX is an innovative new spaceship with the potential to completely alter the way humans travel through space. The launch pad is sure to be noticed for its towering heights and gleaming stainless steel facade. This massive spaceship raises expectations for a future in which humans would explore the cosmos with confidence. Is Starship's lofty goal an exciting step forward for humanity's future in space, or a dangerous distraction from more serious challenges on Earth? Apart from that, what are the upgrades that are promised? On the second flight of SpaceX's full-scale Starship mega rocket, the company will introduce a number of improvements. Among these enhancements are the new method for separating the rocket's two stages, enhanced propulsion, and a reinforced launch site in South Texas, designed to resist the thrust of 33 main engines. According to SpaceX CEO and creator Elon Musk, there are really a tremendous number of changes between the last Starship flight and this one, which is well over 1,000. So I believe the odds of success for the next voyage to orbit are significantly greater than they were for the last attempt. Perhaps as much as 60%. How successfully we achieve stage separation will determine the outcome. Musk discussed the Starship rocket upgrades in detail with writer Ashley Vance over Twitter Spaces. He estimated that in roughly 6 weeks, the next Starship rocket and upgraded launch pad at the Starbase facility in South Texas will be ready for a test flight. That's just the best of our knowledge at this time, Musk remarked. To transfer satellites into orbit, build refueling tankers and propellant stores, and ultimately transport cargo and personnel to the Moon and Mars, SpaceX has designed the Starship spacecraft to be totally reusable. SpaceX's ultimate plan is to phase out its current rocket, the Falcon 9, and crew capsule, the Dragon, in favor of the privately financed Starship. Despite hitting a few bumps in the road, such as engine failures and the rocket's steering system going haywire, SpaceX officials were over the moon with the outcome of the first full-fledged Starship test flight on April 20th. The rocket soared to the heavens, reaching a height of around 24 miles. The test flight went off without a hitch, and the rocket, standing tall at a whopping 394 feet and packing a punch with nearly 15 million pounds of thrust from its methane-fueled Raptor engines, took the crown as the king of all rockets ever launched. The rocket may be broken down into two parts. Super Heavy, the booster stage, is equipped with 33 Raptor engines to help propel the rocket through Earth's atmosphere, while Starship, the upper stage, is equipped with 6 engines to help it reach orbital velocity. The Starship's top stage could carry fuel, drop off cargo, or house the crew during missions. Disengaging the rocket from the upper stage 3 minutes after launch is one of the most radical new features of SpaceX's Starship design. In April, Starship failed to complete a critical test flight milestone by separating its stages. Using hot staging, in which the upper stage's engines are ignited while those on the first stage or booster stage are still running, was sort of a late-breaking change that's really quite significant to the way the stage separation works, Musk said. Hot staging has been used for decades by Russian rockets like the venerable Soyuz, but it is not used on any contemporary US launch vehicle. The booster engines of rockets are typically turned off for a brief period of time before the first stage is released and the upper stage engine is ignited. Musk said that SpaceX will deactivate the majority of the Super Heavy booster's engines and concurrently ignite those of the Starship upper stage. As a result, the Starship can now carry even more than its previous maximum of 100 metric tons into low Earth orbit. The stainless steel rocket, which SpaceX hopes to recover and reuse several times, will need additional shielding added by engineers. Musk claimed that redesign would increase the Starship rocket's cargo capacity by around 10%, adding, obviously, that results in kind of blasting the booster, so you've got to protect the top of the boost stage from getting incinerated by the upper stage engines. Loss of thrust occurs when the rocket stages are separated after the booster engines have been turned off. The force of Earth's gravity causes the rocket speed to gradually decrease, even though it continues to soar for the time being. So, you want to start the ship engines before you completely shut down the booster engines, Musk said. And not just blow itself up, Musk remarked, explaining why SpaceX is adding a venting extension to the top of the Super Heavy booster. This will enable the very hot gas produced by the upper stage engines to escape the rocket in a controlled manner. I suppose this is one of the most dangerous parts of the following flight. During the test launch on April 20th, some of the Super Heavy booster's 33 Raptor engines either failed to ignite or lost power. Over the course of a year, Musk's team constructed and tested a hodgepodge of engines for the first Starship test flight. Manifolds on the Raptor engines are being tweaked by the SpaceX crew in preparation for the second test flight of the Starship. These manifolds will guide hot, methane-rich gas into the combustion chambers, where it'll be mixed with oxygen-rich air. In the previous model, there was a weakness in the manifold's connection to the engine that allowed hot gas to escape through the bolt holes. To address the concern about leaking superheated gas, engineers will use the new manifold design and increase the tension on fasteners. Musk has already said that the next Starship test flight will unveil numerous more enhancements. Electric thrust vector controls have replaced the hydraulic steering system used in the April 20th launch, and the booster's 33 Raptor engines have been given increased protection from the explosions of nearby engines. About 1,000 cubic meters of steel reinforced concrete are being poured beneath the pedestal of the launch pad, which is where the Starship and its Super Heavy rockets stand before liftoff. A hole was blasted out of the concrete pad below the launching platform in April when the rocket's Raptor engines went off, sending debris flying thousands of feet into the air. To prevent water from pooling and eventually bursting through the new layer of reinforced concrete, SpaceX will install 2 thick steel plates with channels channeled through them. Musk compared it to an inverted, enormous shower head. While the rocket is over the pad, it'll basically blast water upward to counteract the massive amount of heat from the booster. The next Starship test flight is scheduled to have the rocket spend less time on the pad, another safety measure. It's hardly a novel idea to dump water on the launch pad. SpaceX's Falcon 9 launch platforms in California and Florida use water to reduce acoustic energy, but management opted against using a comparable configuration at the Starship launch pad in Texas. Hindsight is 2020, Musk remarked. Therefore, it's natural for us to feel remorse. When asked what the biggest technological hurdle is for the Starship project, Musk dodged the question. He said that engineers need data from a real launch in order to resolve the unknowns regarding the Starship rocket and make the necessary improvements. The evaluation of the Starship rocket's flight termination mechanism, which took longer than anticipated to kill the spacecraft when it strayed from its pre-planned flight path in April, was not a subject Musk discussed during his Twitter Spaces discussion. The destruct mechanism is designed to cause the rocket to disintegrate rapidly before it can do damage to any inhabited regions by detonating pyrotechnic charges in the fuel tanks. Whenever there's a change to the destruct system, it must be approved by the Federal Aviation Administration, the governing body responsible for ensuring that rocket launches do not pose a threat to the general public. Although the April 20th test flight of the Starship posed no danger to any populated regions, SpaceX CEO Elon Musk warned that it may take longer to re-qualify the flight termination system than to fix the other problems on the company's docket before the next Starship launch. Musk admitted that the timing of the next Starship test flight could not be in SpaceX's control. There are a lot of factors that we can't influence. The Starship from SpaceX is a bold step forward for space travel, driven by the will to break new ground in human accomplishment. The many improvements and innovations in its design are cause for optimism for the future of spaceflight, but there are still important issues to resolve. Whether Starship's audacious concept ushers in a new age of space exploration or reveals the intricacies and constraints of traveling beyond our home planet will be revealed only as the mission progresses. If nothing else, its existence attests to the ever-present curiosity that motivates humankind's continued efforts to expand into space. What are your views on this? The Starship is a massive vessel with tremendous capabilities, but do you think it can really open the way for human colonization or other planets? Let us know your opinions in the comments below.